Among the many measures included in Georgia's new voting law are two provisions that could impact how elections operate. One removes the Secretary of State as the chairperson for the state elections board, and the other gives the state the power to take over local election systems that are underperforming. Dr. Andrea Gillespie, a political science professor at Emory University, says removing the Secretary of State as the chair could potentially be problematic. The new law says the General Assembly, which is currently majority Republican, will appoint a new nonpartisan chair for the state elections board. But Dr. Gillespie says that person may feel bound by loyalty to those who chose her or him.
While there are provisions that are in the law that may seem to try to give members of the state election board some autonomy, there actually are many more provisions that are troubling and that critics can legitimately argue might lead to abuse later on.
Dr. Gillespie says that's what critics are afraid of if the board can fairly take over local election systems in Democratic counties. She says perhaps it could have helped if the law limited how long the chair could be in power.
Some of this could be alleviated, if the board chair, was appointed to, a term that doesn't look like a state legislative or gubernatorial term, like a 5-year term or a 10-year term.
Supporter of SB 202 and GOP strategist Brian Robinson says he doesn't agree with this part of the law.
If we're going to say that Georgians have the vote to determine who the Secretary of State is going to be, and that person gets to run our elections, then let's empower that person to run our election.
Dr. Gillespie says there are parts of the law that are good for voters, like being able to process absentee ballots earlier and shortening the time frame between election and runoffs.